Good morning and welcome to the Daily Light Devotion. I hope all of you have had a wonderful Sunday and we're looking forward to this week, the final week of February. We nearly finished 2 months of 2026. I'm recording for the 23rd of February today, and today we're going to be seeing Jesus through Numbers chapter 9 to 11, and also in the New Testament, we're going to look at Mark chapter 5, verses 1 to 20. Um, as far as Numbers 9 to 11 is concerned, the theme is God's guidance, human complaints, and Christ, our faithful shepherd. We see two powerful contrasts in from 9, 10, 11. God's faithful guidance and humans' restless complaining, right? In these chapters, we see God is leading his people by his presence. God's providing daily bread. God responds to rebellion, and God appoints leaders to share the burden. And through all of these, we can see Jesus, the great guide, a true bread, and the faithful shepherd. Uh, ch- Numbers 9, chapter 9, God leads Israel by a cloud by day, fire by night. And when the clouds move, they move. When it stays, they stay. So you can see complete God's guidance here. They did not travel by preference, they travel by God's presence. And Jesus is our divine guide, right? He says, I am the light of the world in John 8, verse 12. True discipleship or true life of a Christian is not self-directed, it is spirit-led. And Paul encourages us, in the New Testament, Galatians, he says, walk by the Spirit. And just as Israel followed the cloud, we follow Christ when we are led by the Spirit, by the Holy Spirit. Verses 15 to 23 in chapter 9, Numbers 9, is sometimes the cloud stayed one day, sometime a year. So the people had to learn patience, obedience, and trust. Jesus teaches us dependence. He said in John 15:4, abide in me, right? True spiritual maturity is learning to move only when God moves. And moving over to chapter 10, we see God commands two silver trumpets to call the assembly and signal movement and prepare for battle. These are the three reasons. And the people respond to the sound. So Jesus calls his people with authority, right? My sheep hear my voice, John 10, verse 27. When Christ calls, his people respond. And moving over to chapter 11, the people grow dissatisfied. They complain about hardship, about the manna they were receiving, and their circumstances. They long to go back to Egypt, back to their slavery, and even though Egypt was, it was a very tough time for them. They were used to that lifestyle, and their minds had not changed. They had not repented, and not seen God's faithfulness, and were unthankful. The real These reveal the dangerous heart conditions of a human, which it says in Jeremiah chapter 17, verse 9, is deceitful. Actually, the word deceitful means, if you translate it to the Hebrew, it actually means, rugged. Rugged means uneven, like an uneven ground. That's how the heart condition is. It is because of the brokenness that we received when we separated from God, when Adam and Eve sinned. And so we forget, they forgot their deliverance. They were thinking it was much better to be in bondage. That was because of the heart condition. Jesus is the true bread of heaven, right? I am the bread of life. Israel rejected manna, many rejected Christ. So dissatisfaction with God's provision reveals misplaced desires. Moses became overwhelmed. God responded by sharing his workload and sharing his spirit, appointing 70 elders, distributing the burden. Right? God does not remove leadership, but he multiplies it. So Jesus carries our ultimate burden. He says, come to me, I will give you rest, in Matthew 11:28. And through the Spirit, he empowers others to serve. So God never intends leaders to carry the burden alone. So the pattern we see in these three chapters in Numbers 9, 10, 11 is guidance, obedience, testing, complaint, grace, and provision. So the pattern reflects the human condition, but also God's mercy. Jesus fulfills these patterns perfectly. He obeys fully. He never complained. He trusted completely, and he provides eternally. So, what are some of the key takeaways for us? God leads clearly. Waiting is part of obedience. Complaining reveals the heart, and God provides daily bread. Jesus is a great guide and provider. That is what we learn. As far as Mark chapter 5, verses 1 to 20, we see authority over darkness. That's one of the themes. Restoration of identity and the mission of mercy. So these passages reveal the depth of human brokenness again, the destructive power of darkness, the absolute authority of Jesus, and the transforming, power of mercy. This is just not a miracle story; it's a picture of salvation, right? And we see chapter 1, Jesus enters the region of Gerasenes, a Gentile area east of Sea of Galilee. He intentionally steps in unclean territory, among tombs, among pigs, among spiritual oppression. Jesus does not avoid darkness, he invades it. So no place is too broken for Jesus, neither are our hearts, he can enter it. Right, verses 2 to 5. And the man here is living in a tomb who was oppressed, isolated from society, violent and uncontrollable, self destructive, bound by chains, but impossible to restrain. He's alive physically, but socially and spiritually dead. The man represents humanity apart from God, bonded, broken, isolated, restless. That is what the human heart is. So, because sin enslaves us into isolation. What happens is verses 6 to 13, the demon recognizes Jesus immediately. They call him the Son of the Most High God. The name of the legion suggests many demons, possibly thousands, and yet, despite their numbers, they must ask permission to act. Now, you see, a lot of the religious people could not recognize Jesus. I mean, most of them. But the people who were sinners recognized Jesus. And sometimes, we may get comfortable with church and not recognize Jesus, while others who are not believers may recognize Jesus. So that's a learning for us, right? So Jesus has absolute authority over spiritual realm. Even demons submit to him. So the restoration happens in 14:15. After Jesus casts out the demon, the man is sitting, clothed, in the right mind. The transformation is complete, from chaos to calm, from nakedness to dignity, from madness to peace. Jesus restores identity. He does not just remove evil, he restores wholeness. So salvation is not just deliverance, it's restoration, right? The reaction of the people, instead of celebrating, the town is afraid. They ask Jesus to leave. Because transformation, what happens is why they asked him to leave, because transformation causes disruption, discomfort. And the loss of pigs meant financial loss also, because the demons were inside the pigs. People often fear change more than bondage, right? We saw that in the Old Testament also when we looked at, chapter 11, Numbers. So the pattern is brokenness, encounter, authority, deliverance, restoration, mission. So the pattern of salvation, Jesus confronts darkness, breaks chains, restores dignity, sends us out with purpose. So the key takeaways are: no one is too far gone for Jesus. Christ has authority over every spiritual power. Salvation restores identity and dignity. Transformation may unsettle others. Even a redeemed person has a testimony. So Jesus crosses boundaries to rescue the forgotten. He speaks with authority into chaos. He restores what was shattered. The man once lived among tombs, but now he proclaims life. So this is the question. This question is not whether Jesus can deliver. The question is, will we tell others what he has done for us? And I want to leave you with that question. Have a wonderful Monday. I will see you tomorrow. Bye.